Hello, Mandee. How are you today?
I am overall pretty good. It's wild. It's crazy out there. There's a whole lot we're going to talk about tonight. But
Yes,
overall, for me, I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm actually really, really good today. It's funny because we always talk beforehand. So I'm like, hey, Mandee, how are you? Before people get on. And then I'm like, hey, Mandee, how are you again? And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to like do that. Maybe I'll stop asking you. And
Doesn't
then I'll
bother me
wait.
one bit. I appreciate it. I'm just grateful to hold space and be here on our little Monday night chat.
I'm super excited too. It's funny because like I'm actually at a place where I'm like super calm right now, so it's almost like my woohoo energy is not necessarily kicking in. Hopefully it will, maybe it won't. Maybe it's just supposed to be mellow today. But I'm like cool. I'm actually cool. And I know there were a lot of things that you said that you wanted to bring up because of the full moon and the energy and the retrograde. Hello, Jennifer.
I do. Hi, Jennifer. We're so excited you're here. Awesome. There's a lot going on. So we have this insane retrograde that we've been working on for a while, right? Hey, Glenda. We've been working on this retrograde for like a while now. And hi, TJ. Hi, Cece. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
So excited you guys are here. Welcome. Welcome, Helen. Oh my gosh. Yes, if you're here, say hello. We love holding Monday Night Soul Space. And tonight is a very special one, as we were just talking about. Hey, Ursula. Hey, Julie. So we have a trifecta of energy going on, and probably more than that, but three that we're going to focus on. One is we just had a massive full moon last night. Number two is that was a lunar eclipse, which was an incredible force and energy, and it was really interesting. I'm going to tell more stories today about like what I observed from people and different things in regards to this energy. And then so we have our eclipse, our full moon, and then the third is this retrograde that we've been working on. So those are our three wild energies. And if you are feeling this retrograde right now, if it's activating you, if it's making things a little bit of a challenge, if you're just interested or curious, Ursula and I, who's on here, she's one of the co-founders of Sea Goddess Healing Arts. Ursula is an astrologist, and Ursula and I are leading a 3-week class starting on Wednesday called Reaping the Rewards of Retrograde. And it's going to be super fun. It's going to be on Wednesday nights for the next 3 weeks from 6 o'clock to 7:30. And you can register at seagoddesshealingarts.com under classes. And there is a link on the main page there. We'll also post a link in the replay to this. So if you need some extra support, just know that there is a group class option. And if you can't make it, or if you can, it'll be recorded too. So Jennifer said our classes are amazing. Kevin said, hello, beautiful souls. Hi, Kevin. Pammy Jane's up in the house. What up, Pammy? We love her. You know Pammy, you know what's up.
Tanya, Tracy, and Heather all. Everybody.
Yes. Oh, big hearts. So that's a nutshell of the energies going on. So drop us some comments. Let us know what's been happening for all of you. There's been a lot of dreams. Today I was in the doctor's office and I overheard all the nurses talking, and every single one of them was like, yo, did you sleep last night? And the one's like, no, I had to get up at 2 a.m. and put on my Calm app. And then another one was like, I just like woke up at 3 a.m. and was charged. And then another one was like dragging and like, oh my gosh, my kid was up at 4 and I'm exhausted. And like, it was just so interesting because like almost all of them had their own interesting little stories about losing sleep last night. I slept pretty well. I do okay.
I slept awesome.
Yeah, I was born during a full moon and a retrograde, so I do pretty well during those energies. But some people don't. So it was very fascinating what was happening.
Ben didn't sleep last night. He has to get up at 2 o'clock, and he had like an hour where he was actually able to rest. So he was under the I didn't sleep last night, out like a log. So we have Jennifer. I got up at 3:33, and Pammy says, y'all know it's been so festive. LOL. Heather says, I slept good. Yes, it's been a crazy. I mean, you guys have been here for my crazy nonsense. I finally got my stuff for all of you who are not my Facebook friends. But yay, my stuff came. It's no longer stolen. That was fun. And it was funny because once again, I told Mandee, I feel like the lesson in all of this kind of, there's been a multitude. But Crystal doesn't need stuff. She doesn't need stuff. And so when we finally got to the resolution inside of our head that we weren't getting it back, it showed up 7 a.m. Saturday morning. So that's kind of the way of the world. And all the other stuff has just been cool clearing And I see the lessons, but also it's more healing in my life right now than anything else. Like, okay, let's get this taken care of finally and move the F on. We're closing the door. So I feel like there's just been a lot, and I know you guys have experienced a lot. So yes, tell your stories. Cece says, woke up at 5:55. Hi, Julie. Heather, yay. And Glenda says, it's been real. Off and on sleep for a few weeks. Ursula, yay, Crystal. Tanya says, I slept well. Jennifer, yes. Also got my book back. My book Bible I got back, and I started ferociously looking up my numbers yesterday because I've got like 50 of them.
What'd you find?
Oh, so one of them was 917, and I thought that was really funny. I shared that. I was like, oh, well, isn't that a kick in the pants, Spirit? Thank you so much. 917 is sudden shifts. Life happens in a moment. Your angels signal to you that your current reality is shifting towards something very different. It's all for your highest good, but change can cause anxiety and stress. And y'all know I've been anxious and stressed. Let go of the fear of what is to come as you sit in meditation today. Breathe in white light of faith and breathe out darker light of fear. I was like, well, hey, see, they know what they're talking about. I just didn't have my book.
I think that's solid advice with these energies, because it's very fascinating. What's going on with this retrograde, as we talked about a couple times now, is it's really revisiting things from about 18 years ago. So that's like 2003, 2004 time. For me, that was like a massive time of choice and growth in all kinds of different ways. And it was really interesting because I was thinking about some things and I was trying to remember high school a little bit. And I'm like, gosh, that was like so long ago. And there's some things I remember, but there's some things, you just definitely don't. And so there's a movie that came out the other night I had on Sunday. I get really, Iris, thank you. It's my dog, Iris. I get really charged up with the full moon. And I typically tend to plant things or want to be in my garden. It's like all day Sunday, I just got so many things done around the house. And at the end of the day, I was like, I thought I'd be exhausted, but I wasn't. And I still had time to like do something. And a new movie came out with Rebel Wilson on Netflix. And it's all about this girl who like goes into a coma her senior year because she's a cheerleader and gets like knocked out because it's a Mean Girls or something. And it's all about like growing and all this stuff. And it was so funny because it was my same high school mascot and school colors and everything. And then there's all these like flashbacks to all these different songs that like brought back memories for me, or different like ways of being or things we did in 2003. And I was just like laughing. I was like, Angels, you got jokes. Like we're doing some serious like healing and growth and like revisiting right now. And this is really exciting. So I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. And sometimes you never know how this shadow work is going to assist you.
It's so funny because like when we were unpacking on Saturday and Sunday, Ben put on old music. So we were also listening to stuff back from like our older time frames between 1996 and like 2003. It was so very funny because I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this song in forever. And then I'm finding myself like singing to it. And so we are going to go back up. Julie says, I did not sleep even a little. Or I did not sleep even a little. Well, I think that might have been wild. I don't know, but full moons actually do that to me, Julie. I most of the time can't sleep. I don't know if like everything for me just kind of came to a head on Saturday when we got our stuff back. But at the same time, I generally don't sleep either. Glenda had some stuff come to the surface with my real dad, totally unexpectedly. Cried at work. Lost a cousin on Mother's Day, and it's been wild. I am so sorry, Glenda. I am so sorry, Glenda. It feels heavy. So take your breaths, release the breaths, and then also give yourself some love right now, because that's never loss along with healing is never fun, because it's kind of like a lot for our heart to take in a very short period of time. So give yourself a lot of love with that. Hello, Angela. Heather Harold says, I keep seeing 824. I will put it on Facebook. I will take a screenshot of it and I will put it on Facebook. Hi, my husband. Benjamin Getty is my husband, so it's okay if he hits on me. Thank you very much. And then Glenda says, oh, we watched that movie last night. I'm going to have to watch it. I didn't know there was a movie.
It just came out. It was like, a surprise new movie on Netflix. Like, just came out.
We just watched the one, I can't remember what it was called, but it's the one with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. It was actually pretty cute. I can't remember the name of it, but it was super cute. Jennifer says, hey, she's my midge. LOL. Jennifer says, I love amped up Mandee.
Thank you. I love her too.
TJ says, so ladies, once again, need you. I broke my foot in 2 places having surgery on Wednesday. I need my angels with me. So I like to tell people to thank them for being with you and assisting the hands of the doctors who are working on you. I thank them for filling me with light, standing with me throughout the process, and I thank them for doing anything else that they need to do. And I also think you're going to do really well because they're giving lots of love right now, which means that you're actually going to do well. You're pretty, like, I feel like you're a limber person. So they're really just making me feel like you're a pretty healthy overall. And so this will be fine. I don't even really necessarily think that you're going to have that much of a difficulty afterwards with the recuperation, because they're almost making me feel like what you were experiencing prior to the surgery was probably big. And so the aftermath of it probably isn't going to be so horrible for you to go through. So they're really just giving you lots of love with that. Ursula says, Ursula should be on the show again sometime because she's super fun. Ursula
We're
says,
going to get her on soon. I have
think
asked
so.
her to come on, but she's really, really busy and there's a lot going on with the full moon, but she's going to come soon. And I also wanted to take a pause to mention, Louise, how you can heal your life when
Yes.
feet come up. I had a lot of feet issues and ankle issues and a reconstruction surgery and all of that stuff. And an affirmation to really help our feet, because a lot of times it can represent our understanding of ourselves, of life, and of others. So an affirmation to help you along your healing process while you're doing all the physical stuff would be, my understanding is clear and I am willing to change with the times. I am safe. Whenever I'm healing, I try to write the affirmation that pairs with it as well, so that I'm treating my mind, body, soul, spirit, all of the things, and touch all of the energy sources that we all need to meet in order to heal. So hopefully that helps you along your way too. I just wanted to practice a pause.
I'm curious how many people who listen here or have listened here have had issues with their feet. I'm kind of curious about that. You've had issues with your feet. I've had to have reconstruction on my feet. I'm going to have more reconstruction maybe someday, but I don't think so because they're fine on my feet. But at the same time, it's kind of funny. I'm curious how many spiritually people who are dealing with stuff have had issues with their feet, because that's the affirmation is so widespread amongst a lot of healers, a lot of lovers, a lot of empaths. So it's just, I'm curious.
Even our Danny Marshburn, who's our yoga guru over here at Sea Goddess, she destroyed both of her feet and then healed them both, and is like an amazing yogi. So you never know.
The stretching works so well for feet. The stretching does.
And for me, it was once I started going more minimal after my reconstruction. I'd walk around bare feet as much as possible. I'd walk around in the grass, on the sand. I'd pretty much just wear really, really minimal sneakers, or like Crocs actually. And my feet healed finally after they were bound and constricted for far too long. So you just never know what's going to work for you. I wasn't told that was going to work, but it did.
And obviously what Mandee just said, whatever works for you works for you. But at the same time, I would challenge everybody to take a really decent walk in the woods without shoes. That's my favorite thing to do. I told Ben, I was like, I'm going to have to invest in shoes that aren't actually shoes, because I can't wear shoes. I actually have to constantly be barefoot. We went to Tequamanon Falls and we hiked the whole trail barefoot. And Ben was like, I was in my element. It was like the best thing for me. And I hate shoes, especially when I'm outside, because it helps with that. So yes, I challenge all of you, take a good walk in the woods or something barefoot if you can handle it. I mean, if you can't, then don't, because sometimes there's sharp stuff, but my feet apparently can do it.
Do some research on grounding and what that actually is and what it does for our bodies, and how we release toxins and things that are no longer serving us, and how the actual Mother Earth and the plants and the root systems and all the things give us amazing nutrients and electrolytes and energy. And it's incredible what can happen. So if you've never done it, spring has sprung in many, many places, and summer's on the way. And this is a great time to go out and connect with nature. Yes, allergies are kicking. It's all right if you got to take an allergy pill, but get out there and enjoy it.
Love it. Ursula says, that's the eclipse energy. Some themes as 18 to 19 years ago. How many of you guys did you get to see the actual eclipse?
No, Ursula's very upset
Oh,
about this, but so this is part of our whole like eclipse season. We had like 10 days of like mist and clouds and rain and terrible storms on and off for like the past 10 days. It's been wild.
oh,
We had to cancel our festival. We had to postpone it. It's this weekend. It's Saturday, the 21st at the Obsequion Lighthouse. But we had to postpone it for 2 weeks. And I'm glad we did because last weekend ended up being a washout as well. For the most part, we ended up dancing in the rain and doing a drum circle anyway, and it was awesome. However, this weekend is going to be lovely. So if you're in the Atlantic City area, come meet us. We're going to be at the Obsequion Lighthouse in Atlantic City from 12 to 6. There's going to be 40 plus vendors. Hopefully we had that, but there's some rearranging now with the weather. And then we have a drum circle. We have workshops going on all day, live music. And then to culminate, we're doing a sound bath inside the lighthouse. And what happens is we're going to use the lighthouse as a natural amplifier to send out healing vibes into the city and all of those who are laying on the grass and relaxing and absorbing it. So it's going to be a super fun day, and we hope you can join us. And there's a lot more information on SeaGoddessHealingArts.com.
so it's kind of cool. First off, as you're talking, I've never been there, but I will show up eventually. I promise.
You will.
It's really funny because, like, do you know the history of the lighthouse? I'm sure you probably do, right?
I do. Do you want to know?
Okay. Well, I'm curious. There's healing that needs to be had, correct? Because what they're doing is they're making me feel like you guys are actually like recirculating energies of what was created there originally. They're making me feel like it was actually a place of creation before, but then it went stagnant. And now it's almost like you're opening it back up.
You're right. Here's what happened. So it was discovered by Dr. Jonathan Pitney in the 1850s. And he was a doctor from Philadelphia. And he would bring his patients who were like kind of incurable, which also my kind of definition of incurable is curable within. And it means that nothing else on the outside is working. So we got to add some things on the inside, whether that's a diet change, whether that's a thought change, whether that's releasing toxins out of your body, whatever it is. So if you're out there and you have something incurable, I encourage you to maybe take a breath and a pause and rethink that. So back to Dr. Jonathan Pitney in the 1950s, right? So he comes from Atlantic City or from Philadelphia, and Atlantic City Island, Obsequion Island, as it's called, because that's why it's the Obsequion Lighthouse, because Atlantic City and the surrounding towns that are attached to it, it's all one big island called Obsequion Island. And then the Obsequion Inlet is right there. And so there's a town called Obsequion too. And that's the furthest point you could get to the shore in the 1850s, unless you were Native American. And then what would happen is the Native Americans would use it way before that to go out there as their summer land and fish and hunt and gather for winter. So it's been used for a long time. So what Dr. Pitney discovered is he brought all of his patients down to the shore and encourage them to bathe in the water and breathe the air. And what happened is he found all of these people who were sick were able to get better. We were at a farmer's market last year, and a woman came up to us and said that her grandfather healed. He was bit by like a teensy fly in Philadelphia. He was a factory worker or something, or owned a factory. And this teensy fly came and bit him, and it was like making him go paralyzed, and he got like really sick. And they said he was just basically going to die, but bring him to the shore and help him get into the water every day and see what happens. And he lived, and he started a business there and lived there for like 85 years or something. So these things can happen. And that was Dr. Jonathan Pitney's vision. So he built the lighthouse to help people, get to the island. And what really inspired him was there was a shipwreck where 313 people died crashing into the island. So he built a road there. And then the first building that was ever built was the lighthouse. And it was meant to be a beacon of safety, of light, and then to shine a light on what Jonathan Pitney, who technically discovered Atlantic City, made it accessible to civilization, I would say, in the 1850s. His intention was for it to be like this beautiful healing seashore resort. So it is a really nice thing. And we did it once already last year with the sound bath, and it does, really honor the original intention of his vision from what we've been taught. And it's just an honor because the city deserves it. And there's a lot of rebirth happening there after a lot of trauma and drama.
Well, that's super awesome, but you guys need to know that spirit around you is like, woohoo, we're so excited for you guys to come in and be like, yes, let's utilize this the way. So you're almost like bringing the healing out when you do that, because sound waves, you're taking it out further than what it was actually ever intended. So good for you guys doing awesome work on spirit's end for like all of us, apparently, because it's going into the ocean, it's being traveled with the fish, the sea life, it's literally revamping everything, and they're making me feel like y'all are doing some big stuff. So good job. Spirit doesn't generally speak to Mandee for me, but at the same time, they're really making me feel like you guys together are like collaborating some awesome stuff. Like, woohoo, they're so excited. So you guys are doing great.
Sound healing is cool, and it speaks for itself because it's a vibration, it's a feeling, it's an experience that nobody can make up for you. Nobody can do it for you. It's just something that you show up and you absorb and you see what it feels like. And sometimes it changes things. Sometimes it doesn't. It's all up to you.
And it's so important to break up that vibration. Like when you do your cards and pull cards for people, you hit the cards before each person to break up the energy probably from what came before. And that's literally what sound healing is. It's breaking up that energy. It's shocking it through. It's not just like it's not just like our heart and stuff that needs movement. We need movement everywhere in our cells and all those places. And that's where the sound gets into those little sound places that we don't really know needs it, but at the same time, all of it does. So I don't know, there's a lot of cool stuff coming in with this too. And I feel like that's funny because like the last 3 days, I've had readings with people who want healing information. And that's like coming through so much right now. It's kind of really cool that you just kind of put that out there. So anybody who's having issues with anything physical, mental, emotional, I would actually Google like sound healing frequencies or sound frequencies for certain specific healing on YouTube. When I meditate, I don't meditate like usual people do. Most people like actually get into the state of meditation. I usually put on sound music. And then I'll just like lay there for 5 or 10 minutes until I feel good about the situation, or I'll fall asleep. And then I feel super refreshed when I wake up. So if meditation normally doesn't work for you, or guided meditations, or you have problems with that, do the healing stuff and do it for whatever you need. Like if you need energy, do you have headaches that you want to work on? Do you need to heal from something emotional, mental? You can find anything on YouTube. Like you really can find almost everything.
And like to meditate means to go within. Sorry, I keep getting up and down. We've had some storms and I had my windows open, but then like all my neighbors came home and it's making the dogs bark. So I was like, I'm going to close the windows. But to meditate means to go within. And it doesn't mean you're not going to have a thought. It doesn't mean thoughts aren't going to come to you, or to-do lists or ideas or whatever it is. It just means you notice those thoughts when they come and you take a breath and you say out, like, no. Let me come back to within. Let me focus on my breath. Let me focus on my heartbeat. And it's just kind of like sifting those thoughts. And then they get softer and fewer and far between the more you keep showing up. And you can do meditation, just like Crystal said, with guided versions, with walking, with being in nature. And as long as you're breathing and honestly taking it, like relaxing and going easy on yourself, that's how you do yourself the most service. So many people try to meditate and then get super frustrated and super pissed off and super annoyed because things keep popping in their head. But what you need to know is it's a process, and it literally means to go within and to know thyself. And so just take your time and be patient with it. And it's one of the best medicines you can do for yourself.
I'm going to read some more comments because we have other comments. We have Jennifer, actually, we have Heather who says, sending love, Glenda. I'm so sorry. Jennifer says, I am turbulent on a good day. So I fare well with moons. I felt that in my soul. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I feel that in my soul. I'm turbulent on a good day. So I fare well with full moons and etc. It's more so dealing with some of the wacky, LOL, I will say. I went into this retrograde feeling great, and so far great, which is awesome. And that means that you probably did your healing in your last round or a couple other times before. If you were hit hard in a retrograde, you probably already did some of the work, and that's why they're being a little bit nice to you right now. And so that's kind of awesome. I jumped. So sorry. Technology. I jumped and I don't know where I'm at. So
it's Mercury.
I'm trying to find us.
Trying
to find my way back. Okay. We have, you don't have to put 8:24 up. I have the book, but thank you. That was Heather. She's got the book. Tammy says, hey, ladies, it's been a minute since I was able to catch you guys. I think my angels are ignoring me. They never ignore you, hun. There's reasons they don't talk sometimes, or maybe they're not talking in the way that you're used to interpreting, and they're trying to open the door to different use of gifts. That's usually what happens. I think my angels are ignoring me, or I'm super blind, and suggesting how to be a little bit more open. Well, that's kind of funny. I didn't even fully read that. Mandy's going to pull you some cards, but I'm going to say that that's kind of what that is. In our growth phases, especially when we're spiritually growing, healing, all that fun stuff that happens in our lives, they will tend to open us up in different ways. And so I'm gathering that what's taking place for you right now is some of the old is starting to work out of your life, and some of the new is starting to come in. And so you've kind of went as far as you can in the gifts that you have. And so they're trying to up the ante a little bit with you and get you kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone and learning how to see, feel, understand, and utilize what those gifts look like as a whole. I like to tell people, because a lot of us know what the clairs are, and we know the things that we're taught. But the simplest approach is spirit speaks through thoughts, feelings, emotions, ego, imagery, senses. That's it. It's just how they talk. They aren't going to sit down, have a solid cup of coffee with you the way that we want them to. That just don't work. That's how our human brain works, which is why it's so difficult for us to get on that fine tuning spectrum of just feeling, which is why what Mandee just said with meditation is so important, because in those moments of being able to release, somehow we're able to receive what spirit can give to us, because we're not constantly thinking. And so right now, what they're probably trying to do is slow you down in certain aspects of your life and open you up in other aspects of your life. And so I would do some inner reflection right now, and maybe I want to say journal, but not journal, because I don't really think you're a journal person. However, they are making me feel like you should jot down some of the thought processes that you get sometimes. So maybe a small pad of paper to carry through your day, because in those moments, I think you're receiving some pretty big stuff. It's just you don't know how to interpret it as it comes in. And so what happens is you forget the messages along the way, so you can't put the whole puzzle together as a whole. And so it's not that you're ignoring them. It's not that they're not speaking. It's just that you guys haven't quite found that conversation piece that's going to work with both of you. What are the ways that you communicate with spirit, and how can they communicate with you? Right now, you guys are speaking different languages. It's not that you're not talking. And so if I were you, I'd sit down and thank them. Say, I thank you guys so very much for showing me when you come through how to receive your information, how to receive your energy, and how to invite you into my life to hear you as a whole, and ask for that to be for the highest good of all concerned. And then let that kind of be your guide, and then let them show up for you, because they always will. And then I'm going to shut up and let Mandee pull her card.
Aw. Well, I just went and grabbed my angel deck. This is one of my favorite decks, especially if you're a beginner and you've never used cards before. This is the Angel Prayers deck by Kyle Gray. He's one of our Hay House guys, and he's awesome. So angels, what does Tammy need to know Roast right now? They're giggling already, and they're just saying they're absolutely with you. And this is really important for many people who are listening right now. We're only growing, like we're in bloom half the month and we're releasing half the month, just like the moons. We're new, we're creative, we're bringing in, and then half the month we're releasing. And we're in tune with spirit all day, every day. And sometimes angels have like really funny little ways of joking, or like a song will come on that's just like too good, and you can't even make it up for the moment or what you were thinking at that time. Because what it is it's connecting with your stream of consciousness. It's connecting with your thoughts and the things that you're thinking in that moment. And then spirit will come in and give some sort of sign or feeling or sensation, like Crystal was talking about, in order to do that. And so many people get really frustrated thinking that their angels aren't with them anymore. They're doing something wrong. They're not listening. I did that. And then I ended up getting really bad gout attacks, which is caused by impatience and need to dominate. And you heal it by creating peace within your relationships. And I was so kind to everybody else, but I was really mean to myself. My self-talk was shit. I was calling myself horrible things all day, every day. And I was frustrated with spirit because I wasn't getting the signs I wanted in the way I wanted them, or whatever it was. So I had to learn to breathe. I had to learn to calm down. I had to learn to practice that pause and open myself to receiving. So, Tammy, number one, you got speak your truth. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel. Thank you, Gabriel, for helping me to speak my truth with integrity. Right now, part of that is you're a little blind because you're not really able to Here because you're frustrated because you're not speaking your truth on something. They're showing that it's a time to just don't say yes when you really mean no, have strong boundaries, and speak with loving assertiveness. Like, no, that's not okay. Or this is really bothering me. Or I'd like to address this and work on this, whatever it is. Or I just really want to go away this weekend and do this. Whatever it is you're having a hard time saying, it's time to do that and do it with authority and ask the angels to help you. You then got the inner voice. Thank you, angels, for guiding me through my inner voice. Just like I said before, time to slow down, just like Crystal was saying, time to trust in the subtle realms. What kind of thoughts are you thinking? What kind of stuff is popping in your head? A lot of times when something really random comes in with like clear pulse, like it's spirit. It's important to like decipher that and play around with it, but it's time to learn how to maybe trust the different voices that are going on within us, because there's our soul, there's our higher self, there's spirit, there's a lot of different things that will come in, and you're really starting to tune into that. Last but not least, Tammy, Archangel Azariel is with you, and it's because you have change and transition going on. Thank you, Azariel, for leading me safely through this change. The change that's happening for you, it's happening for you right now. You can't do anything about it, so you just have to go through it, and you need to trust it and trust that everything, even if it doesn't feel right completely at this time, it is for your highest good, and it's going to be just fine, and you are safe and protected, and clearly your angels are with you. Some badass ones, in fact.
So I'm going to add to a little bit of that, because Mandee brought up a good thing about deciphering and knowing like what is you, what is spirit. And that's kind of something that gets us like, we tend to get very overwhelmed about that, because how do we know? It comes in our own voice, in our own head. And okay. I like to tell people that first off, your guides, angels, and higher helper beings, anybody that you speak with, will never speak any ill will about you or anybody else, ever. Spirit never speaks ugly words about anybody. They have a way of looking at you and going, okay, was that reaction necessary? I mean, we were all there for that conversation, Crystal. Should we look at that a little deeper? It's almost like having a therapist in my head at all times. Okay. A therapist that's
pretty
really
much what your angels are. They're your like best friends and cheerleaders and guides. Like, isn't that a therapist kind of?
They really are. And I work with spice. I'm a little sassy in my life, and so I need that sass. Other people may not need that as much as I do, so it won't come through that way. But they will never talk smack to you, about you, or anybody else. Okay. And so that's one of the ways that I tell people, first and foremost, because either our brain or other influences will speak ugliness and be full of ego and like, well, you should do this. You should do this. This is what I'm seeing. That's not spirit. Okay. Spirit doesn't channel. Yes, sometimes spirit's like, well, gosh, that person's a hot flipping mess. You should probably leave them. Yes, spirit will say that too, especially if you're talking to a saucy Aunt Pat on the other side. However, it will not come through with negativity. It'll be for love for the person involved, for growth, for boundaries, for understanding and respect. And that's a difference in that feeling compass, like Mandee had talked about. If spirit's speaking, there's always going to be something associated with that feeling. And so we have to learn how to hear those things and digest that a little bit differently. And so when doing this, I always tell people to practice by asking questions like, thank them for giving you things, thank them for helping you see them, thank them for saying, being like, hey, when this comes across, it may not happen today or tomorrow or whatever, but I give you the open book to bring it whenever, and thank you for letting me know when that is. And you will not only have like this aha moment, is what I call them, because all of us speak to spirit all the time, guys. You will have these aha moments that happen in your life, and it's almost like these things of, I knew that already, or oh my gosh, I thought I saw that before, or this is deja vu. This is spirit's way of giving us breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Okay. It's leading us out of the woods to safety to have our good day. And so it's always reminding us in these little moments of our life, no matter if it's a picture on the wall and you know that this picture is something that only you absolutely love. Like panthers are my favorite. So I walked into a store and there's a panther. Well, what was my day doing? Like, how was my day? What did it invoke inside of me at that moment? There's always little pieces to the puzzle. And so when you're trying to decipher spirit, keep those things in mind. They can only speak through certain things. And sometimes they can't give us the whole group of those things all at once. It's too much energy for them. It takes a lot. It's asking a lot for them to do that to us. That's where we come in. We have that mind, we have that body, we have that soul. We have a little bit more than they have to give to us. And so it's better for us to learn how to decipher what that feels like, what that is on our end, instead of asking them to always provide us more because we don't feel like we're getting enough. So thank them for what they can give you and then take it for what it is. And if you don't get it yet, it's cool. It'll come to you. It'll be what it's going to be. And then just leave it an open door and then revisit it when it comes back, and allow those aha moments to open your door throughout your day, and allow them also to build the confidence inside of you, because those are confidence builders. So that's my 2 cents.
I love it. And aha moments.
It's what Spirit calls them for me.
Get makeup.
It's like in my readings, that's what they say. They had an aha moment. So it's like, oh,
I honor the ahas. Everybody knows what that means, and you can't make that shit up, and it happens for you in really magical, cool ways.
Jennifer, you said, can you post the info? Post the info on what? Is it the book, Mandee's book, my book, or something else that we spoke about? And Ursula is fantastic. TJ says, thanks. You're welcome. Lots of manifesting this past weekend. Could I possibly get a card, Mandee? This is for Julie.
Julie Ann. For Julie. Oh, Julie, you got 2. You got a lot going on right now. You've got the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes, and the initiation, rite of passage. You're going somewhere sacred. I love these ones, and I love them for you. They're showing you've been working really, really hard on trying to up-level your life in a lot of ways, in your own mind, body, soul, spirit, consciousness. And there are some big things happening right now, especially personally and with your ego, maybe some family, stuff like that, where there's an opportunity to really like step up, to respond a little differently, even just with people in your life, like at work, other stuff like that. And it's about how you respond from within and how it radiates out. And then the initiation is happening for you at this time because you're really learning and growing, and things that once bothered you aren't anymore. And you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're so close. So if you're in a storm right now, know that it's a rearranging happening in order for you to manifest exactly what it is you're wanting and calling in. And it's important to pay attention to that, to ask for it, and to know that it's coming. So there you go. You've been training for this for lifetimes. You're ready for it. And the great thing when we're manifesting or wanting to call something in is I'm open to receiving all good. Or like maybe you don't have, a thriving business yet, but if you say I have like a happy, healthy, thriving business, it'll slowly grow into that each day. So whatever it is, and body, I like happy, healthy, thriving body, all of those awesome things. So speak it, manifest it, be it, and know it is the most important part.
Julie's awesome. I love Julie. Lee says, and this would be a card for Mandee because we all know Crystal doesn't speak on love. Lee says,
I beg to question that.
I only if Spirit says. I'll put it that way. If Spirit says, then I do. But obviously, we've been married twice before, so it's probably not good coming from me. I'm clueless and I am hurt. So that is Lee's question.
Oh man.
I was like, I love Mandee. She is such a beautiful person, and I feel like she has a tarot deck or deck of some sort that is for every single reading. And then she pulls out her beautiful pendulum. Yeah.
So this is a hard one, and anything could happen, but is Lee, like, with the way I like to ask my pendulum, like, is Lee safe and protected right now? Yes. Show me neutral. Are the things that are happening for her at this time? Yes. As far as like is Peter being faithful? I don't really want to ask that right now. And they're actually, I did ask it, and they're showing a neutral, and they're showing that it's really important to have healthy communication about this, and that there's been a lot of unhealthy things that have happened for a while. And there's different karmas playing out from both sides in this relationship right now in order to be healed. And so you're going to heal regardless if you stay together or not. But it's really important to do what's best for you at this time. And if you're finding yourself wondering or pining away or thinking about, this relationship too much, it's time to take some breaths and focus back on you. And when you're hurt or clueless or taking space, it's really an opportunity for us to find our own balance again, for us to practice our medicines. Some of us have never even done that. It's the time to maybe explore taking a yoga class, doing some breath work, eating like a certain healthy diet or doing a cleanse, adding in some things like walks each day or something that you can really, focus on and hold yourself accountable to. So they're showing healthy communication. They're also showing stand your ground at this time, and that this is a situation that's happening for both of you in order to grow. So putting it out there for you, Lee. I hope that this helps. Sending a lot of love. Crystal?
I'm going to add just a little bit, not necessarily for Lee specifically, but relationships as a whole. Because I think a lot of us have come from backgrounds where we didn't see a whole lot of communication. We don't really know and understand certain things. I know that was my background. Okay. And a lot of clients and stuff, Ben also. Unfaithful or faithful is really difficult to answer on Spirit's end, because a lot of people, if like you might be asking that in like a sexual cheating type of way or seeing somebody else type of way. However, faithfulness is different to each person. That's why relationships don't work well for certain people. Like me and my first husband, oil and water, didn't work out. Second husband was never going to happen. Okay. Ben and I together today, we work on it, but at the same time, we're both different people. And so I think the best thing, like Mandee said, 100% is communication on all levels when it comes to relationships, because a lot of us don't understand those deeper talks that we have in the midst of the dating is so important. What does faithful look like to you? What does it feel like to you? What does it represent to you? What does love represent to you? What does love feel like to you? What are all of those things to you? Because only you know that. None of our partners have the ability to mind read those things from us. And if we don't clearly communicate, for me, I made it very clear to Ben that being unfaithful to me means talking to people behind my back, not being open in the communication he's having with other people. If he were to have pictures of other women on his phones, that would be unfaithful. He can watch porn all he wants. I don't give two shits about porn as long as it is what it is and we talk about it and stuff like that. He doesn't. But at the same time, that was something we spoke about. We were open about everything and what that looked like, and have still been communicating what that looks like as a whole. And that is very important to every relationship, because most of the time people get in so quickly that we don't have the conversations, because we don't know that these are things that should be spoke about. It seems so little at the time, in a whirlwind of love and this and growth, that we miss those moments to have that time. And then when something comes up, it triggers something that we had happened before. And then all of a sudden we're pissed off, we're angry, we're resentful over a conversation we weren't open about to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And in their eyes and in their interpretation, that might not be unfaithful at all. Their understanding of love may look very different to yours. And so are they assholes? No, not necessarily. They're just different. And they see life differently. And we can't force people to see what we want them to see. We have to love them for who they are, where they're at, without any form of pushing them into something different in the future. If you can't love somebody for who they are completely, then they are not the right person for you. You are not supposed to change people. You're supposed to grow with them. And so that's something to be very, very mindful of. And Lee, I do think this is a little bit of where we're coming from. And I don't think it's just on your end, and I don't think it's just on their end. They're making me feel like both of you keep a lot in and don't know how to communicate and be vulnerable to those conversations. And it's probably not anything ugly at all. It's probably neither one of you have had the openness in your lives prior to be vulnerable, because every time you tried to be vulnerable, you were probably shut down. And that probably created some sort of angst inside of your soul, which is creating this wall that we're seeing. I think both of you are beautiful people through Spirit's eyes. Are you guys going to make it work? They're kind of pushing against each other like two magnets going boink, boink. And that's because sometimes there are things that just won't change. in all of us. And we have to be honest about that too. So if something doesn't feel right, I would let that be your lighthouse. I would let that be your compass. And I would take that and I would let those be the boundaries that you create going further. And I would let that be the door to be opening and rebuilding if that's what you want. If that's not what you want, then just be good. Call it quits. Shut the door. It's whatever. It's one step in your life that will open you up to new things. If you want to try, make the conversations happen and see where it goes from there. But we all have to be very open with what that looks like. And I think a lot of us tend to make mistakes by not having those conversations. I would have saved myself 2 freaking divorces if I would have just had conversations. I'm just saying. So
I got a little bit to add to that. Number one, thanks for all that awesome relationship advice that you don't give. That was great. Number 2, boundaries are how we're learning, and none of us were taught them. None of us were taught to express them. Women especially, like, we were conditioned to, like, you know, be seen and heard and not make a lot of requests and things like that. And so all of us are learning different ways in order to express our boundaries and in order to learn what our own even are. And some people have, you know, there's all different types of relationships out there for all different types of people that explore all different types of boundaries. And it's okay to honor the ones that you have. And when you're feeling resentful, most of the time, it's an indication that there's a boundary you're unaware of being crossed. And it's important to go in and do some shadow work and saying, like, well, what is this boundary? Maybe it's a coworker is 10 minutes late every day. You get started and you do everything and you don't say anything about it because it's just what they do, but you're building up resentment. And at the end of the week, you're like, I freaking hate Sally, like whatever it is. And you're holding all this stuff because of somebody else's actions or whatever's going on. Does it make it right or okay? It doesn't matter. What matters is how you're feeling in response to the situation that's happening and how you're allowing it to affect the inside of your vessel at this time. So they're showing Lee that there's definitely resentment building up and things like that. And it's really important to take some breaths, practice the pause, and be brave. There's a great YouTube channel out there called A New Mode. They give amazing advice on like no contact rule and like all kinds of different things in order to help you get back into yourself and to have like a happier, healthier relationship. So that's out there too, if it might help.
Yeah, I relationships.
Oh, yeah, they treat you first and you're a boss on them.
Well, I mean, like, I am when it comes to that stuff, but also there's a lot of people who don't like that type. That's the stuff that Spirit has literally, that's the counseling. You just saw them counseled. That was years of counseling. Glenda says, yes, heavy. I thought I was losing my mind, but today was lighter for sure. And I'm grateful that you're having that type of day, Glenda, because you deserve some light days. You deserve some clear energy to kind of start moving through for you as well. So I do hope that things kind of get a little smoother, even in retrograde. I pray that you receive some smoothness and light. Okay. TJ says, Mandee, that is wonderful. Thank you. So about your book. And then Glenda says, I've had surgery on both feet. Hi, Susan. Kristen, also me too. Left foot done at 16 and a chronic issue for me. Thankfully, mine was fixed with surgery. Mine was a tendon issue. They had to repair a tendon for me.
Me too. I have part cadaver tendon. Thank you.
Yeah, so do I.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you for helping me
enjoy
my
I
life better.
you. Pam, hi. Tammy says, my foot swells for no reason. It's just so annoying. Sometimes our feet swelling for no reason is also a sign of us not allowing ourselves to fully channel the energy from above. Reiki healers, energy healers, people who do energy work will experience this. I do sometimes if I'm not allowing myself to fully channel the energy through, or it can also be something along the lines of root chakra not being grounded completely, because you've got a clog in one of your root structures, because when we ground, we have roots that come from the soles of our feet, and we also have one that comes from our tailbone. And so that might be also a sign that you're not grounded very well right now. And so we've got to kind of work on some of what that is as well. And did you want to add to that with the beautiful book of everything?
Louise said,
you can heal your life.
You can heal your life. She says exactly what Crystal said. Swelling is caused by being in stuck thinking, clogged, painful ideas. The way we fix it, my thoughts flow freely and easily. I move through ideas with ease. So everybody take a breath. And then repeat after me. My thoughts flow freely and easily. I move through ideas with ease. So that's how we flush swelling out. And that's why a lot of times rapid swelling will come on in weird ways. A lot of times it has to do with something we're kind of stuck in our thinking about. Could be anything. So it's important to just breathe and let it flush and ask your vessel, hey, please flush this area, help my swelling to go down, send cool light to it. It helps so much. There's so many things you can do.
Also water.
I'm glad we talked about this.
Also water. If something is clogged in the energetic system, it goes hand in hand also with our organs. And so it's always good to flush with water as well if you're trying to break out the energy. Heather says, I've had bilateral feet surgery when I was younger. Oh my gosh. Jennifer says, I got bad knees. LOL. I'm not laughing at your bad knees, Jennifer. It was just how you said it. I almost can like picture your sarcasm and funniness through your conversations. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at you. Kevin says foot issues all my life. And Julian, my feet are horrendous. Pam says I shared. Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate that. Cece, I'm going through a particularly stressful situation with family and through guidance with Mandee, things have started to even out. Perfect. Beautiful.
Cece,
Beautiful.
I'm sending you so much love. I was thinking about you all weekend. I still have notes on my desk about some things that Cece knows, that I was sending some resources and stuff. And you inspired me all weekend with all kinds of things. So you're amazing. Your angels are proud of you. I'm even wanting to pull you another card right now for Cece. Ah, you got two. Look at that. First one, boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? So more communication of that, more coming on in and saying and speaking your truth and exactly what's going on and exactly what needs to happen. And you know what to do there. And then the other one is the Pleiades. Well, go ahead.
No. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You finish.
Okay.
I was just going to add to the boundaries.
Perfect. Yeah, you can help too. The other one is the Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So this one is really cool because the Pleiadians are amazing. It's a constellation. They're beings. Many of us have had past lives in the Pleiades. And the double mission is to not only channel, which is tune into spirit and what that is and your higher self and express it, whether that's through writing or just in meditation or nature or speaking it in the way that we do. There's so many different ways to express it, but also to uplift humanity. The big part of what you're bringing in, Cece, and so many of us, is your heart energy and the purity of that and what that looks like. And sometimes, especially for all the other moms out there or people who get taken advantage of, sometimes it's important to take a breath and speak our own truth from our own loving boundaries for ourselves and say, no, that is not okay. That's not right. That's not okay with me. And you're like, it's not okay for you to speak to me this way. I'm going to walk away if you do. This isn't appropriate here. This is my house and I do get to choose how things get to be said. Or, if someone's, always disrespecting your time and something like that, there's so many different ways you can say, oh, I really enjoy spending time with you, but my time's really valuable right now. And you've been late, the past 10 times or whatever, 3 times. And I just can't show up for that anymore. So until you're ready, reach out to me when we can really meet on time. And it's scary to have those conversations sometimes, but it's healthy and you feel 10,000 times better. Brene Brown always talks about speaking your truth. And she talks about going on a date with someone and, oh, do you want to go out again? No, I had a great time, but no, I don't. Thank you so much. And she's like, awkward moment. Then it's over and you're free for the rest of the day. I spoke my truth and it doesn't plague you of how I'm going to dump this person or let them down. Or now they're thinking all weekend about maybe it'll work out, but it might not. So it's so amazing what can happen when we're just open and honest and we speak our truth. So lots of truth speaking and love for Cece right now. And she knows all the things that we discussed. And thank you so much for watching and your support, sister.
I'm going to add to that, Cece. Also, your team is very spicy and cute. They're cute. Boundaries with yourself too. Because I think that sometimes how they're giving it to me is that sometimes you're like, yes, I want to do this, or yes, I feel like I need to do this, or yes, blah, 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 blah. And so it's almost like you're creating boundaries with yourself too, and being honest with yourself about how much time and energy you have to give throughout your day, because they're making me feel like you want to have a full cup, but by golly, you don't have a full cup. And so maybe 5-10 years ago, your cup was awesome and you were able to do all of these things without being exhausted and tired and feeling yucky the next day, but you're actually starting to get physically affected by some of the things that are happening in your life, and they're making me feel like you don't always wake up feeling so great anymore, and it's because you weren't honest with yourself about how you felt on that moment, at that day, and at that time. And so also boundaries with yourself. You don't have that right now because you're going through these things right now. So you have to make sure that you hold yourself accountable on those days so you don't wake up sick and exhausted the next day. And they're also giving you lots of love. Like, you have really done a lot of fine tuning. They're making me feel like you've added in a whole lot of different tools to your tool belt, and you're really starting to like rebuild this awesome, cool life in very different ways, mind you. They're making me feel like Mandee done half you out of your comfort zone, and they're giving you a round of applause, Mandee. But at the same time, they're really making me feel like you're using those tools very, very well. So don't doubt yourself, be nice to yourself, and also know that you're doing it right. I know you don't need Mandee throughout your day, because they're not making me feel like that's what they're saying at all, but they are making me feel like it's almost like she's like fine-tuned into your soul now. So you hear her reverberating back throughout your day. And so they're just once again giving a round of applause, like, they're so excited, because you, my dear, are also a healer. You are also a spiritual being. You are also somebody who is so very open and intuitive as well. And so you need to have that full cup to keep doing what you do. Like, you have to have something to give for doing what you do in your day. So they're just making me feel like it's only natural right now that we're taking a step back. It's only natural. So even though it may feel like it's a bumpy roller coaster ride, they promise you'll be safe. Just put your seatbelt on and lay back. It's cool. Okay. They're giving you lots of love. Heather says, I love to go barefoot. Tanya says, not my feet, but just had my 7th knee surgery. Holy cow, Tanya. I am sorry.
We're gonna look up knees
Mandee,
next.
do you want to? I was gonna say, do you want to look up knees? I feel like she needs to hear this. And just found out that I have a tear in my ACL, so now I get to go have number 8. Your tendons are wiggly. They're not holding things together properly. I don't know if you have. Thank you. What is it called? Hypermobility. Have you been diagnosed with hypermobility? Because they're almost making me feel like you have bendy bones, and they're making me feel like you hyperextend yourself a little bit too easily and kind of pull things a little bit. And because you're hyperextendable, maybe it doesn't feel as painful to you as what it does other people. I'm hyperextendable too. Like, I got the bendy stuff as well. But that goes hand in hand also with autoimmune diseases. I think it's actually considered an autoimmune disease. And they're almost making me feel like you have some form of what hypermobility would be, and it affects your knees. And it also affects your elbows, and probably could go into your bicep tendons and also into your shoulders, is how they're giving this to me. And so that might be something to look into. Not a medical doctor, can't prescribe, diagnose, give you drugs, but I'm just telling you, Spirit's saying, hey, you might want to look into this a little bit more, because I think you'll save yourself in the future. You try to push yourself, and what's happening is you're bending things. It's like it's being hyperextended, and it's not going back to where it needs, and then it takes everything else and makes it all crazy. So it's like everything else is overworking because this isn't holding it where it all needs to go. So that's how they're presenting it to me. Sorry.
So, don't be sorry. That's great. And Louise agrees. And knees represent pride and ego. Knee problems are stubborn ego and pride, inability to bend, fear, inflexibility, won't give in. The way we fix that are having thoughts like, I'm flexible and flowing, forgiveness, understanding, compassion. I bend and flow with ease, all is well. Knee problems come up for so many people because
Yeah.
it's really associated with, being inflexible, being fear-based, not really giving in. And sometimes it's just, it's afraid of something within ourselves. It doesn't necessarily mean you're fighting anybody else or anything. But it's really important to take a look at where our ego is maybe being a little stubborn and where we can always be a little more flexible and flowing, especially as you're going into your 8th surgery here. And 8 is infinite. 8 represents infinity, and maybe this is the time you really get to heal it. Now you're going to pair it with some of those thoughts too. And just like we talked about before with all surgeries, bless the surgeons, bless the team, bless yourself and your knee, and thank it for showing up, and thank it for healing and supporting itself, because it really will. And you've been through it, not your first rodeo. So we're sending you a lot of love, but I think this time might be a little different now that you've been growing on the spiritual train a little bit.
Sorry, trying to take my arm back from Rocky. He's done. Sorry, if you heard that yawn taking place in the background, it wasn't me. I was not yawning at Mandee. It was my dog.
That's okay. I didn't even hear it.
Angela says, my dad is listening and he's had severe neuropathy issues for 20 years. Neuropathy is also one of those things, generally speaking, well, I'll let Mandee look it up if that's what she's doing, but neuropathy is another one of those things. It's almost like the charging is taking place, and it's like a combustion of a lot of things firing off all at once that causes that pain. And so it's kind of like that grounding structure again.
And the theme of the night, it represents communication and receptive reporters. I communicate with ease and with joy. So the more loving you can communicate, the more you can say thank you, the more you can take a breath, practice a pause, even if it's just you find yourself short because you're in pain, things like that. The more you can communicate better with ease and with joy, it's really going to help your nerves to relax a lot. And one of my favorite mantras is just, I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. And it's incredible what it will do to your body and how it will heal it. Certainly healed my gout. No doubt about it.
Sorry, I'm deleting and blocking because that's what we do when things go nuts.
When we get a trolley.
Yes, we have the last couple times we've done stuff. It's fine. Whatever. But it's been a great night, Mandee.
It's been such a beautiful night.
And we have a lot more comments. We do have a whole lot more comments.
I think what we should do is we should maybe read through all the comments and say thank you for joining, and maybe not pull any more cards tonight or anything. And then, go from there.
Do you want to go back up to Heather's, if you can find her comment, while I delete these? It was the very last one that I read.
Oop.
There's so many comments.
Mine keeps hopping around in true retrograde fashion. I think as you delete them, mine hops a little.
Oh man. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's okay.
So many issues.
Heather said, I feel like you should go. Take the chance. I think she was talking about the relationship that we were talking about. Perhaps. And TJ said, I completely agree. I have always said that's the most important thing in a marriage. I guess that's why I've been married for 41 years. Communication. So important. Jennifer said, ditto, Midge. Cece sent hearts. Ursula said, the feet are also related to Pisces energy. So spirituality, it popped up. And surrender are themes too right now. It's so true. We've got the Pisces energy coming in with this retrograde, and it's really important to see if and where we need to surrender anything and how we want to do that and how we can communicate and trust spirit. Really, a lot of our boundaries and choices have to do with trusting our higher self and the angels and all those things around us.
Okay, I'm done messing with your comment thread, I promise.
Okay, where are we at now then? Hypermobility?
I'm going back up now, I swear.
Okay. You find where you're at, because I got lost now.
I'm so sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Retrograde. Okay. To be expected.
So, Helen says, me too, Tanya. I have always said my feet can't breathe with shoes on. That's how I feel. I feel like they're like in this like weird space that they're just like being held hostage. I hate it. I go barefoot as often as I can, but thankfully had shoes on. I think I would have been worse. Probably some people do. Some people need that support from shoes, and I probably should too, but I can't. I'm like a child when it comes to that. I actually was threatened several times to get, like, they tried to kick me out of school because I refused to wear shoes. And they thought I was crazy. They were like, Crystal, you can't do that. And I was like, bull crap, watch me. So everybody knew me as the girl without shoes. I feel your pain, and I send you tons of healing vibes. I have Renaud's. It was cloudy here, and I do believe that was probably in response to us asking if they saw the moon last night. Kevin says yes. Jen, sorry I missed your comment, but it's the Angels book, 824, and it is by Mystic Michaela. I like this book. It's the one that it really connects with me. Glenda, me too. Jennifer, LOL, it's okay. I asked author title. It's the Angel Numbers book, and once again, Mystic Michaela. I've missed you girls. That was Julie. Ursula gives hearts. Jill, thank you. I got to nail dip myself today. I was so excited because I hate long nails. They drive me nuts. And then Heather says, I love the lighthouse story. I will for sure one day, probably far in the future, have to visit that lighthouse. Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you, Ursula. I really want you to be on the show because you're fun. You're so fun to listen to. You have a wealth of knowledge that I have no clue on.
Ursula actually has an amazing new show she just put out on podcast called Chiron. What's it called? Shoot. It's amazing. What's it called? Oh, Ursula, if you're still watching, type in the name of it. I'm totally forgetting. Something about Chiron. And Chiron is like a ruler of so many things in our lives. And there's a lot of opportunity to grow right now and go deep, and especially wherever Chiron is in your personal chart. And Ursula really talks about all of that. And there's links to it on our website, on our Facebook page, all that good stuff, on our Instagram, on our YouTube. And it's incredible. So check it out. It's radical. If you're into spirituality and if you're into astrology, especially, you will really enjoy this show. So I just had to give that a little Becoming Chiron. Thank you, Glenda. Thank you. I'm like, she's
thank you.
Like having I can't even remember. Becoming Chiron. So that is the new amazing podcast put out by our astrologist, Ursula Duffy, brand new. And I think you guys would love it.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to check it out.
Don't
it's so fun to
know where you are in the comments, but I did see a comment that's haunting me from Andrea saying, Mandee, can you pull a card for my son, Adam? We are watching this together and he has health issues. So I pulled one because I saw that to make it quick. And you've got the Shaolin Master, be graceful in movement and action. They're actually showing if you can do some physical stuff like some yoga or breathing or some Tai Chi, some gentle martial arts stuff to whatever your mobility is. Even if you're stuck in bed, just doing circles with your wrists, whatever it is. But they're showing that moving this energy within your body and within your mind is really going to help you a lot with what you've got going on now with your health issues. And there's been times we're talking about all the surgeries. I'm the queen of like chair exercises and like no leg yoga, or like wherever you have an injury, you can isolate it and you can work on other things and get that blood pumping. But hopefully that helps you, and we're sending you love and blessings on your health journey.
Jennifer says that's the bomb.com. Heather says, I love sitting and listening to singing bowls. Me too. They're my favorite.
Me too.
Tracy, I'm attending my first sound bath on Sunday. That should be super fun for you, Tracy. Singing bowls were the only thing that helped with my PTSD. Actually, I think that that's what helps with mine too, is the breaking up in the moment. If I listen to music in those moments, it takes me back out. And so music is the thing for me.
And Jennifer is a sound healer. She's also a veteran, and she's playing the sound bowls in the lighthouse this Saturday. Jennifer and Adrian are going to be around playing the singing bowls and the sound bowls for all of us to hear. And we're going to be broadcasting it live too, so you can tune into that.
I'm not sure what this is in response to.
Sound healing waves.
Yep.
I don't know what it's in the shop to.
I'm just not sure what it's for, like what it was intended for, but I'm going to leave it up and I'll just read the comments.
That definitely helps with physical health and healing. So if you're looking for some salvatia or some binaural beats, you want to make sure it has like an amazing healing frequency to it. And 432 is incredibly healing, especially for tissue and the body and spiritual healing, all kinds of things.
Yep. So that's why I was like, okay. See, Mandee knows. Jennifer says, my soul is singing, ha ha ha. I highly recommend sound healing and therapy. I could not slow down enough until I found my bowls. I actually want to buy some of my own bowls. Hit hard on many, LOL. There's an event Saturday. And then Julie says, I need fine-tuned. And I think that what you were talking about, the event on Saturday, isn't that yours, Mandee?
Yes, the it's the Absecon Lighthouse Spring Festival, and it'll be in Atlantic City this Saturday from noon to 6 at the Absecon Lighthouse in Atlantic City. But it will also be snippets will be broadcast on our website, Sea Goddess Healing Arts, or not on our website, our Facebook, Sea Goddess Healing Arts Facebook. And then also we will be broadcasting the sound bath, which Jennifer and Adrian will be a part of. So we're looking forward to that. So anybody can tune in anywhere at 5 o'clock Eastern time for the sound bath on Saturday. And then it'll be recorded, so you could tune in later this week too.
I'm going to have to do that because I loved it the last time. It was like my favorite part of the show. It was my favorite part. Stephanie says, my guides have started to show me another form of spirit. What is the best way to embrace it and master it better? With a lack of fear. I'm going to make this quick because they're really making me, well, one, we've got a lot of comments to read through, but they're really making me feel like a lack of fear and trust in yourself. That you are the light, you are the strength, you are the power, and you are the understanding. If we can all get in tune with the fact that we are that and those things, then it'll make channeling anything that we channel very much easier. And it doesn't matter, because if you're channeling for demons, you're going to get scared sometimes. If you're channeling healing to somebody, there's some crap that happens in people's lives that we pick up on. It's like, holy crap, that's like super emotional and I'm feeling very whatever. So as long as we can do whatever we do without fear and understand that our job is literally just to take it, channel it through, give the messages, it is what it is. Leave it at the door. Find a way to find that inside of yourself. And it's just a way to gain power, strength, and confidence for you. So please know this is one of those learning curves, jumping up to the next fine-tuning moment. That's all this is for. So it'll be short-lived. It won't be very quick, or it won't be a very long process, okay? Tammy says, literally just got choked up. Thank you. I'll be patient and we'll try a heck of a lot more. And I do believe you did a reading for her. Susan gave a little heart, and Ashley says, I've never had a chance to catch you live, but I'm so glad I did. Perfect timing for my life right now as I look for new paths. All of us, Ashley, all of us.
And a reminder, we have a retrograde class coming up, SeaGoddessHealingArts.com, Reaping the Rewards of Retrograde, 3-week series starting this Wednesday, goes 3 weeks in a row from 6 o'clock to 7:30, and it's all recorded. 3 classes, $44. It'll totally help you along your path.
Yes. And they do these frequently. They do.
We try to do it every retrograde.
There's like every retrograde, because there's always new stuff coming in, new stuff going out. So keep in tune with the Sea Goddess Healing Arts page, because they give a lot of classes.
Yeah, they're integration portals. All the downloads you get, all the ideas that you have, especially when you feel disconnected from spirit, you're integrating, especially during retrograde times.
And then Jennifer says, Midge is on fire. Thank you so much. She also said, not that kind of party. Thanks, though. Glenda says, I feel like I want my guides to sit and have coffee with me, though, LOL, because it's a challenge for sure understanding the signs. Sometimes it is because they're cryptic. They're cryptic signs because they only have specific things to give us. I just wish people could understand the lack of energy spirit has to give these things to us. And that's why they try to piece it together with the most like boom, boom, boom way that they can. And so the shock value works for them. So why do you see a 3-headed dog salivating at the foot of your bed at night? There's a reason for that. Maybe it's because somebody's trying to do you dirty in your real life. Maybe it's because of something else. It's very little, most of the time, actually demons or anything scary. Most of the time, it's a representation of something else, and they're just trying to get your attention because that's what they got to do. Short space. Julie says, yes, this is wonderful, Tracy. Julianne, I knew this was a good idea to have a card pulled. Julie, thank you so much. I love you. Patty, Hello, life is complicated. It sure is, Patty. We've
Nothing
talked
is
about that a
good.
lot tonight and over the past, I think, 3 weeks. Life has been crazy for everybody. Julie, Crystal, or Mandee, should I stay or should I go? I think that, oh, I'm going to tell you go. I'm sorry. Um, First word that came, go. And it's not for the reasons that you would think. Okay, they're not making me feel like that at all. They're actually making me feel like the stay should be right now. The go should be pretty soon, because they're making me feel like you are still in the midst of a learning experience for this moment in time in your life, and so that's why it feels off to you in this moment. You're not ready to take that jolt down your path change yet, and that's okay too. When we know that both things are good for us and we feel like we need to hop and make a choice and decision, it doesn't always mean that we need to make a choice and decision. I mean, Mandee, are you going to pull a card too? Or are
Yeah,
you just
for
okay?
Julie.
I was like, yeah,
Just
because
because. Oh,
yeah,
well, take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill.
yep.
So
So
whatever
go.
this is for, whether it's a relationship, a job, a team, a group, whatever it is, they're just showing. It's amazing what breaks can do, and especially if you're in relationships. Like,
Yeah.
it's not fun or easy, but it really gives you a chance. It takes 14 to 21 days to change a habit. So like taking and practicing a pause, especially like a no contact kind of thing with whatever it was that was causing you an issue, really helps to gain clarity and perspective. So sometimes just a break, sometimes it's just a pause, but your intuition's already telling you. One of our favorite conscious coaches, Leslie Lyon, basically her boundaries are you feel it in yourself. And I agree. If it's not a fuck yes, then it's a fuck no. And if it's a maybe, then it's definitely a no. So I enjoy that. And I'm sure you all know what that feels like, because I certainly do.
So yeah, spirit and Mandee both say, hey, it's probably time to go. But also keep in mind that right now might be an in-between stage for you to get your T's crossed, I's dotted, take care of anything that needs to be taken care of. And so that might feel why it's stagnant for this moment, but you already know what your soul wants. But also don't hate yourself if you don't choose to go. Okay. There's those things. We have to understand that sometimes we're just not ready for some reason. Okay. With that, we have Heather. I feel like you should go. Take the chance. And Heather, accurate AF. TJ, completely agree. I've always said that's the most important thing in a marriage. I guess that's why I've been married for 41 years. Communication, man, I'm telling you, it's amazing what happens when you speak to your spouse, eh? And Jennifer says, ditto, Midge. Cece gave you hearts. Ursula, the feet also resonate to Pisces energy. So spiritually and surrender are themes there too. So there you go. There's some surrendering and breaking free there as well. Tina says, hi, beautiful ladies. Cece, thank you. Christy Cisco, hypermobility. Thank you. I think you were telling me. Maybe you're the reason why I telepathically had that given to me in my head. So thank you. My psychic energy does kick in every now and then, maybe. Cece says, thank you so much, ladies. I love you both. Christy, she's laughing at me. Or you. I don't know, but she's laughing.
This was great.
Andrea's giving us kisses. Julianne Rocky says, time is up, mama. He's always making conversation. I'm just saying. I just hopped. I'm so sorry. Oh Lord. So I don't know where I'm at. I'm so sorry. Retrograde again. Oh,
Yeah.
hey. We have, can Mandee pull a card for my son Adam? That's the one that you
That's
saw.
the one I
and
did.
then
Yeah.
yep.
That's where mine was stuck.
Yes, thank you, ladies. Thanks, ladies. Thank you again, both. I hope you have a great day. I've enjoyed this tonight. I'm so glad to have been able to be caught up with you guys. Hi, Crystal, miss you. No shoes, good. Kelly, I feel like I have signs from my angels, but sometimes I question if I am right or not. New to having see the signs. You are right. Always believe in yourself and believe in them. You're a team that works together hand in hand. And so if you feel it, if you see it, if you sense it on some level, it's accurate. Okay. We only question ourselves because our brain knows that these are not things that are of like, I don't know how to say it. I always like, I don't know. I talk so negatively sometimes, or people interpret it that way as for my ego. It's not. Our ego's awesome and it has a time and space in our life. But the truth is that the science behind our brain, that AI energy, likes to take control and do everything for us. And that's not what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to let us still have free will. we lose our free will to this sometimes. Okay. And so if this is telling you that you can't, it's not true, it's whatever, but you feel like it is, then I would take this over this, because that's the learning to retrain your thoughts taking place. So that's a blessing in itself. Okay. That's what I'm going to say about that. And then, and she did answer you, and I'm going to look that up because I want to catch her show, her podcast. I will be subscribing, Ursula. Yes, becoming Chiron. Thank you. Great live show. It jumped again. I'm so sorry. Jennifer, it can heal on a cellular level. You can cleanse your chakras, get those low vibes gone. It's good stuff, especially for those who have a hard time slowing down. It helps get you in a deeper flow state. You may need more pieces to the puzzle. Oh my God, I love you girls. And we love you all too. And thank you so very much. I said hypermobility just as you sent it. So thank you. I was probably tuning in and tapping in and that. And I was like, thank you, whoever put that in my head. I don't care who it is. Words. Thank you, Mandee. It was an amazing show tonight.
It was beautiful. Happy full moon, eclipse, retrograde. You're not alone out there. Whatever's happening within you, it's happening for you. If it's dark right now, we're sending you loads of love and light. Remember to ask your angels for support. Remember to breathe, practice that pause. Try to look at this shift in perspective as, even if it's scary or unknown, it's probably happening for you. Also, if this is a time you get energized and activated like me, like I can barely sit still tonight, and you guys know I'm pretty grounded, like enjoy it, ride the wave, capitalize on it. Like everything's moment by moment. Please give us a like, a share, a follow on SeaGoddessHealingArts.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're having a festival this weekend, and we also have an online class, Reaping the Rewards of Retrograde, starting Wednesday night. We'd love for you to join. Crystal, how do people get a hold of you?
Midmittenmedium.com is my website, and you can also find me at Spirit Speaks with Mitten Medium on YouTube as well as Facebook. And I also want to say, if you do catch that sound healing that is going to be live streamed for Sea Goddess, please give a like and a share, because the more you guys share, the more people see them, and the more that algorithm starts to change and everybody gets to see them. So give them some love on Sunday or Saturday when they're doing this, and help their page, because they're a beautiful set of people that give a lot to a lot of people, including the community, and they deserve all the things. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Please remember that it can be chaotic for you for the next 3 or 4 days. So it's cool. It's all full moony, and just allow yourself to do what you do. Self-love, water, baths if you need to, ground yourself and get out in nature and feel and express. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I love you. Mandee, as always, you're wonderful, amazing, and beautiful. And thank you.
Right back at you. Love you all.
Bye guys.